Hello students. In the last video lecture we have discussed about the buccal cavity or oral cavity of digestive system. Today we will discuss about esophagus and stomach, the second and third part of the alimentary canal. So I'll be making just esophagus, not making the full diagram. Already we have made it. So esophagus, which opens into a muscular J-shaped structure called as stomach, right? So हम लोग esophagus और stomach तक जुड़े रहेंगे. Now this esophagus, first of all, it is a muscular tubular, tube जैसा है तो tubular structure, muscular tubular structure, which is arising from pharynx and then opens into stomach. So we can say esophagus is a connection of oral cavity with the stomach. Now this part, let's understand a little more about the esophagus. ये एक tubular structure है. It is about 25 centimeter in length. How much? It is 25 centimeter in length. Remember that. 1 mark question can come. But as it is passing first from the neck and then the part, half of the part which is passing from the thorax region, means the chest region, and then it is actually piercing. In complete diagram you can see we have already made diaphragm. Then it is piercing in from the diaphragm, this is diaphragm, and then it actually leads into the chest cavity, abdominal cavity. It is abdominal cavity. So upper one is chest cavity and then the abdominal cavity. It opens after piercing into the diaphragm. It actually enters into the abdominal cavity and opens into the stomach. Now in the stomach and the esophagus there is a musculature valve is there. A musculature valve is there, and this valve is called as cardiac valve. Cardiac valve. Now question is why this name is given cardiac valve? Because stomach can be differentiated into 3 parts. This part is called cardiac part, and this is called fundus part, and this portion of the stomach is called pyloric part. So stomach can be differentiated into cardiac, fundus and pyloric part. Okay, so this part of the stomach is very close to the heart, that is why it is called as a cardiac part. And the esophagus opens into the cardiac part of the stomach, that is why these valves are given name cardiac valve. What is the function of a cardiac valve? Cardiac valve actually stops the back push of the food again from the stomach into the esophagus. So backflow को रोकता है, correct? And this pyloric part opens into the duodenum. We'll be making duodenum also, right? But this pyloric part and the duodenum, in between the duodenum and the pyloric part of the stomach, there is another valve which is present, and this valve is called as pyloric valve. Pyloric valve. From this valve, the digested food enters into the duodenum. But how does it get digested? What is the function of the esophagus? We will discuss that first. This is the first portion. You should remember the different characteristics of the esophagus and different parts of the stomach. So this is one diagram. Let's make another diagram to understand what is the basic function. I'm making a little small diagram so you can see it properly. Okay, now esophagus do not have any enzyme secretion in it. It do not have any enzyme secretion because there is no digestive glands which are present in the esophagus. It is just a tubular muscular structure which is connecting the oral cavity with the stomach. Now, then what does it happens? Esophagus, by churning, by contraction and expansion, by rhythmic contraction and expansion of wall, it pushes the food into stomach. This is the first function. So there is no digestive gland, so no digestion occur, but by rhythmic contraction and expansion of the wall of the esophagus, the food is then pushed into the stomach. And this movement is called peristalsis. This is called peristalsis. Remember that. Or peristaltic movement. Correct? Now, another function of the stomach, its wall secretes mucus. Its wall secretes mucus which lubricate the food. By lubrication, the food can be very much easily pushed into the stomach. This is the second function. Third, now in the oral cavity, we already have discussed that ptyalin was breaking starch into maltose. This process of breaking of starch into maltose go on inside the esophagus also. So third one, breaking of starch into dextrin and maltose. Still it is going into the esophagus. Still goes in esophagus also. Okay, so this is all about the esophagus. Remember, from again we'll discuss esophagus. It is 25 centimeter a long tubular muscular structure which is connecting from oral cavity to the stomach, and it is arising from the pharynx. Remember that. Pharynx will be discussing in the respiratory system, right? Then it passes from the neck and then to the thorax region, and by passing through the abdomen, it then goes into the abdominal region. There it opens into the stomach. In between the esophagus and the stomach, there is a well called as a cardiac well. Why it is called cardiac well? Because stomach can be differentiated into three parts: cardiac, fundus, and pyloric. This cardiac part of the stomach is very close to the heart. That is why the wells are also given cardiac wells. And the part which is opening into the duodenum is called as pyloric region, and the well between the stomach and the duodenum is called as pyloric well. Now, about the functioning of the esophagus do not contain any enzyme because there is no digestive glands which are present in the esophagus, but it's continuously contracting and expanding its walls. By that rhythmic contraction expansion, it is pushing the food into the stomach. Secondly, its wall secretes mucus which lubricates the food, which makes the food easy go from the esophagus into the stomach. Third one, actually is breaking of starch into maltose, which have started in the buccal cavity. We have gone into the last video, already have explained. Still this process goes into the stomach. So this is all about the esophagus, you have to remember. Now let us discuss about the stomach also. Let me remove this. Okay. So let's talk about the stomach. Stomach is a very muscular organ. Remember that. It is a very muscular organ. First of all, food stay or stored in the stomach for 4 to 6 hours. For 4 to 6 hours. Remember. And in this particular section, we have 3 basic components: carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Now, carbohydrates in the stomach, stays for 2 hours maximum, and protein stays for 3 to 4 hours. Correct? And fats, it stays for 4 to 6 hours. First, you should remember the components of food which we eat: basic component, carbohydrate, proteins, and fats. So, in the stomach, carbohydrates stay for 2 hours, proteins for 3 to 4 hours, fats for 4 to 6 hours. Remember that, okay? Now, stomach have, tubular glands present over here. These glands, I'm making just on one side, so it is present all through the stomach. These are called gastric gland. Usually we say it produces gastric juice. And we also can call as a gastrin. So gastrin gland, which are basically along with the wall of the stomach, these are tubular gland structures which are present along the wall of the stomach. It produces gastric juice. Now, gastric juice have 3 components. One is hydrochloric acid. Basic function, hydrochloric acid, HCl. And then it also have an enzyme called as pepsin. Pepsin is active in only acidic condition. Before that, it always remain as inactive state called as pepsinogen. Means pepsinogen is enzyme but inactive. It get activated and become pepsin to work. Remember that. So hydrochloric acid, pepsin, and third one is the mucus. Now, in case of infants, remember, in case of infants, there are 2 enzymes. One is prorenin. Now, actually we call it as a renin. You can call it as a renin. Then activate to become prorenin. Right? Renin is present only in case of the infant conditions. Remember that. Renin in infants, actually there is a protein in the milk which is called as casein, converts the casein into paracasein. So what is the function of the casein? It converts casein protein. What is a casein? It is a milk protein. Let's write over here, milk protein. Milk protein into paracasein. Remember that. Now, what is the difference? This casein is soluble, then it is converted into paracasein. It is insoluble. That is why it can stay in the stomach for a longer period of time. That is also required. That basically is also required. Okay. So rannin is present in only infant conditions. Remember that. Not in when you become adult, the rannin actually is not present usually. Got it? So now we'll discuss hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid maintains the pH. Means it lower down the pH about 2.5 to 3, which is required for conversion of inactive pepsin into inactive pepsinogen into pepsin. And this pepsin, what is the function of pepsin? This pepsin breaks the proteins. It breaks the proteins into proteosis and peptones. Breaks the proteins. I hope it is not, actually you can't read it. Let's write it again. Breaks the protein. This pepsin breaks the proteins into proteosis and peptones. Okay, this is a function. But pepsin, inactive stage is pepsinogen. When the HCl is secreted, the pH of the stomach become 2.5 to 3. Then pepsinogen get activated to become pepsin, and pepsin breaks the proteins into proteosis and peptones. Remember that. Okay. Now mucus again is a lubricant. It is a lubricant. It lubricates the food. So a lot of churning is also going into the stomach because it's very, very muscular. So it always lubricates. Churning means it lubricates the food, mixes the enzymes with the food so that enzymes can work a lot upon it. And there are lysozyme is still over there. Lysozyme is still over there, which also act upon the bacteria along with the HCl. HCl kills the bacteria with the acidic medium. It converts pepsinogen into pepsin, right? But it also, by churning, it also makes a food very easy into complex food into the simplest one. These are all functions of the hydrochloric acid. So students, you should remember the esophagus function and also the stomach and different parts. I hope this all is clear to you. Okay, if any problem is there, you can write the comments also. We'll solve your problems also on the Sunday. Thank you so very much.